Hello and welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast powered by Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal needs, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal has you covered. They can also haul rock and sand. They can do driveway work and can now also do horizontal grindings of large wood debris piles. Give Keith a call at 229 314 2048 or at 229-938-2412. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal is proud to be the premier sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Hello, and thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Let me encourage you to like and share this video on whatever podcast or social media platform you're watching today. Also, we're in need of your help on the YouTube platform. Please log on to YouTube, go to our page, Integrity Sports Podcast, and hit the subscribe button for us. We're trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark, and we'll be able to do many more things if we can reach that plateau. Our guest today is a minister to students, as well as having responsibilities in the recreation ministry over at Central Baptist Church. That's Mr. Ellis Coffey. Ellis, thank you for joining me.
Good to be here, Tim. Excited to pod today. Share a little bit about what's going on here at the church and recreation. So,
Ellis, I want to get started today just by talking a little about you. I look back and I think the first time I heard about Ellis Coffey, you were a high school baseball player, a pretty good one, I might add, over at Crisp County High School. But talk to us a little bit about your time growing up there, where you went to college, and what kind of got you to this point.
Yeah, so grew up in Crisp County, went to Crisp County High School, really on the Wilcox County line, so on the far end, the opposite end of the spectrum of where I'm at now, over in Sumter County. But grew up on a farm with my dad, worked on the farm my whole life. And then, I played baseball all growing up. That was my sport. I dabbled in football a little bit, but it just wasn't my love like baseball was. So I really enjoyed playing baseball. Played 4 years at Crisp County. Really everywhere. I really liked the outfield the best. That's what I was best at, I felt like. But wound up playing like third base out of some need. But it was really fun, good time. I don't know if I'd say I was any good, but I did have fun. And then went to college at GSW for a couple years. Couldn't figure out really what I wanted to do. Kind of took a year off, a gap year, I guess, in the middle of it to figure it out, and wound up deciding to, and in that time, got married to Elliot Martin Coffey now. And then we moved off to Louisville, Kentucky, where I graduated from Boyce College with a theological degree. So, which kind of led me to where I'm at now. So,
sounds pretty interesting, Ellis. We're talking today mostly about church recreation ministry, and when people, the general public, think about recreation, I'm pretty confident that church isn't what immediately pops into their minds. But as a professional in this field myself, I see this becoming more and more common where larger churches are starting their recreation ministries. Talk to us a little about Central's decision to get into the recreation ministry, and maybe what some of your hopes are for the facility there and the ministry.
Yeah, so I think the main goal behind recreation ministry is that we see it kind of as like a front door kind of ministry, where it's open, everybody can come, it's a simple thing to invite somebody to. It's not intimidating at all. So I mean, I think, and it's a good way to reach out to people that who wouldn't come into the church or step foot in a service, but they'll step foot, for a pickleball tournament or something. A great way to just do outreach into the community, to try to offer some things that might not be offered within the community, and really, and even even some of my philosophy behind it is using it as a tool to plug into the different recreation opportunities, such as the rec department.
Right.
And because we have a lot of coaches at the rec department,
Absolutely.
and thinking critically about what does it look like to be a Christian and coach little league. That's those kind of things. Trying to think in those terms, because it's really an opportunity for outreach that is unlike any other.
We are talking to Ellis Coffey from Central Baptist, and today's show is also brought to you by our friend Marty McDonald at the Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance Agency. They are located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Americus. You can reach Marty at 928-3686 or check him out on Facebook. Most importantly, he'd like you to drop by and see him. And Mary Lynn also works in there. Go by and see Marty or Mary Lynn, and they can discuss your insurance needs with you. They can even do that famous discount double check to make sure you're receiving all of the savings that are available to you. Thanks to Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance for being a sponsor on the Integrity Sports Podcast. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Ellis, as I look through the Bible, and you look in the book of 1 Timothy, the Apostle Paul there talks about how physical training is of some value, but that godliness has value for all things. So as a church who has a recreational ministry, it really is a biblical concept to offer both spiritual and physical wellness, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, when you hear the scriptures talk about serving God with your whole self, your whole self is not just your spirit and your mind, but with your body as well. Romans, some of the verses that we really like to we have been thinking through with some of the stuff we're trying to think through now with how do we approach rec ministry is, presenting your body as a living sacrifice. What does that mean? Or that's Romans 12:1, or in Hebrews, where it talks about running the race of endurance.
Yeah.
The scriptures are just filled, and Paul uses especially all kinds of athletic analogies to describe things of spiritual nature. So it is important, and he puts an emphasis on it. So
Absolutely.
I think we should put one on it as well.
Ellis, I've gotten to know you a little better over the years through a weekly lunch group that you and I are a part of. Some of the people in this group are also members of the staff there. I think about people like Rodney Poe, who's your music minister there at Central, and recently Cecil Kinney. We've gotten to know him. Sure do miss a guy that used to be with us a lot in Kevin Anglin, who's now pastoring a church of his own over in the state of Alabama. But just during our time together, getting to know you and getting to know some of the folks on your staff, you guys really do have a solid group of people over there. Tell our audience a little bit about that staff there at Central, who they are and kind of what their responsibilities are.
Yeah, well, it all starts at the top with Brian, Brian Myers, who's our senior pastor, a great leader, a great man of God, leads us every day, shows us what it looks like every day to follow God and lead the church and think through all the types of ministry and how we're supposed to do. And then we have Stephen Wright, who is our associate pastor. He's like our go-to. Like, I mean, he's in our office. We're in his office asking questions. He thinks about things in different ways. Very critical thinker. Helps us think through all of our events and things. He's great. A great person to go to. Cecil, who's our student pastor, our youth pastor, and college pastor. Pretty new, pretty fresh, but He's also, he's a sports guy too. He played some football and been working. If you've seen him, he's kind of jacked. So been trying to work out with him a little bit, get some in. But he's awesome. I mean, he relates to the kids well. Really, really good at his time. He's really been a blessing to me, as a friend in his short time here. Rodney leads music. Rodney's awesome. He loves Taco Bell, as me and
Yes. Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A, right?
Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A, that's our go-to. But he's great at what he does. I mean, he's really got a heart to serve the community. I know he's in the community all the time, helping out, especially where he's talented at, which is, music and AV and all that stuff. And then my wife, Elliot, is the preschool director. She's also started about the same time as Cecil. She's helped with preschool as everything from bed babies to 4-year-olds, VBS. She's in that. So I'm grateful to work with this staff. It's a great place to thrive. Couldn't be in a better position for sure.
And Ellis, one of the sponsors of this week's program, is also a member there, and I'm sure you know him, Will Peterson at One Digital Solutions. They are a steward for business growth and personal development. Their insurance, financial, and HR platforms provide you with a personalized, tech-enabled solution for a contemporary work-life experience. One Digital resolves real problems for your business and your employees. They do that by fusing together things like HR, employee benefits, and financial services. It really is everything all in one. It's One Digital. Contact our friend Will Peterson at 229-347-6289. One Digital is a proud sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast. Ellis, as I look at just the things that I know about you guys and the things you've already done or are currently doing, I think about things like your walking track, your nature trail that actually comes right behind my backyard. You've got a really nice soccer field there. You've got playgrounds that my grandkids walk to sometimes and enjoy. I know you've got a disc golf course there. And of course, the new gym is really, really nice. But what I'd like for you to do is talk to us about some of the things that Central's recreation ministry possibly could do in the future.
Yeah. So like you said, we got a great facility. And all those things are open to everybody all the time. So, well, except for the gym, it's got locks on it, but inside, but everything outside's open all the time to everybody. Open gyms twice a week, open to everybody on Monday nights, 6 to 8, and 6 to 8 on Tuesday nights as well. Monday nights for pickleball, Tuesday nights for basketball. But some of the things that we're working on, we talked about a little bit earlier about, what does it look like to present your body to God, to live all these athletic references. Training your body, having it a part of your mind and spirit. We're really focusing right now on getting some workout classes started. We see that as a good opportunity for some people in the community to come for our afternoon classes, especially offering childcare for that, which is something that is just not present right now.
Right.
In other places. And that's one thing that we really focus on, is trying not to be just another gym or another recreation department. We really want to carve our own path and do things that aren't really being done, which is, that goes into. So, but really focusing on what does it look like to present your body to God, to work at, even in something like working out. What does it look like to work out and do it for the glory of God? And it presents great opportunities to share the gospel and build relationships in those things as well, in those kind of communities.
Ellis, one of the things I've really appreciated about Dr. Myers and really the staff there is the fact that when you're looking at doing something in the recreation realm, you have reached out to me as the recreation director in this community to say, hey, we don't want to do anything that's going to bump heads with you. Here's what we're thinking. Help us walk through this. So it's really been a good partnership so that, like you say, you're not doubling up on services and we're not competing for the same audience of people. And we really appreciate that. And I think that says a lot for the character of your staff there. Briefly I want to get you to expand on a little bit is I'm guessing that this is not just for Central Baptist Church members, that this recreation ministry is more of an outreach to the community. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so everything that we do is outreach focused. So from, open gyms, every recreation activity is for anybody in the community at any time. So whenever the doors are open, everybody's welcome. Workout classes, everybody's welcome. Open gym. I mean, when I look at open gyms, it's almost all non-church members
Right.
that come to those, which is great, and fun as well. Great get to know those guys and girls that come out of that. But yeah, everything's open to the community. We welcome the community. We want them to use it. I know a lot of people in the community like the nature trail, and that's open for anybody all the time. So we love it when we see people playing disc golf, starting on hole one, and we look out our windows in the office and see people teeing off. We really enjoy that. So yeah, open for anybody all the time.
Hey, one of the things I want to talk about that you and I haven't talked about previously is Connect Camp. And I know that's one of your responsibilities. It's a large undertaking for sure, but that's coming up this summer. I want to give you this opportunity on this platform just to kind of briefly tell us about Connect Camp and how folks can get involved in that.
Yeah, so Connect Camp is also like a rec-based camp with all kinds of activities and skills, from basketball to shooting bows and arrows, and everything in between. That's from June 10th to the 14th this summer. This Sunday, we'll actually have $100 off a camp. It's a regular $249, but we'll knock $100 off if you register on the first day and use code CBC100. So if you listen to this past February the 18th, then that don't apply to you. But
Yeah.
if any time before that is want to keep that note. But it's a great camp. A ton of kids. I mean, we'll have 300 or 400 kids at camp. Great time. The team that comes in from Connect is great. They are trained well. They're gospel focused. The whole camp is gospel focused, and they are excellent at relating to the kids. And I've never heard a kid say they've had a bad time at Connect Camp, for sure. So always a blast. So yeah, you don't want to miss that for sure.
If somebody's interested in registering for that, where can they go to do that?
Yeah. So if you're completed kindergarten by June 10th, completed kindergarten and completed 8th grade, you can register at connectcamps.com/Americas. All of our information should be on there.
So make sure and do that. Ellis, the way I try to wrap every show up is I ask my guests about the support network that they have behind the scenes. You're kind of that midway through the career. You've had a really good career with a lot of positive things that have happened. But I know there's some folks behind the scenes that have encouraged you, that have supported you. Talk to us a little bit about those folks, families, and friends that may have been a big influence and encouragement to Ellis Coffee.
Yeah, it really starts with my parents. I mean, seeing the examples that they set for me growing up, spiritually, my dad, the work ethic that he has. I can remember going down every morning to the barn when I was in college, and he'd be in his truck before I'd get there reading his Bible. And my mom, her work at her servant heart, doing anything, anytime, for anybody, really made an impact on me. Elliot is one of the most spiritually healthy people I know, I think. So being married to her just pushes me to the next level, because she's just on top of it all the time, and she's got such a good soul and spirit. And watching her raise 3 kids under 5 and under, that's a task in itself. So her doing that with such grace is great to watch. Brian and Kevin played a big role in helping me get into the ministry, helping me foster my love for ministry. I interned at Central for a little while under Kevin, and talked to Brian a lot during that time, and they really helped me to. And working with Brian now is like a mentor to me. And then I can't leave off Colton Taunton, which is a lot of people know. One of my best friends. We moved to Louisville together. Got really close up there. But because we had to, we didn't have anybody else but each other.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been there for me from the beginning as somebody I can go to with good things, with bad things. He's always there for me. So those people really are I'm blessed to have those people in my life. So
I want to mention somebody else and let you talk a little bit about them too. When I moved back to America, so I'm from here originally, went to Montgomery, Alabama to play college baseball and started my career over there, and then moved back shortly after that. And my dad at the time was working at Buckeye Cellulose here in Americus, or in Oglethorpe actually. And I was running an adult softball league, and I got to know this guy named Roy Martin. And I called my dad, and hey, I met Roy Martin. He said he used to work with you. And my dad had glowing things to say about what a godly guy that Roy Martin was. And that's your father-in-law.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he prays and walks through spiritually things like nobody I've ever seen before. So I can remember me and Elliot talking one time, and her comment was like, I know that if he says it and he believes it, that he's put the time and effort in of going to God and going to the scriptures and really thinking about it. He's a great example in that, to be able to not just go in a whim, but to really be a man of God and follow after God and base every decision off of that. Yeah, a great example for sure.
Gotta be a real blessing to have both good parents and in-laws.
Definitely. I'm glad to have them close too. All of them are close.
Absolutely.
So that's
Hey,
great.
we want to thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Let me again ask you to go to our YouTube page and hit the subscribe button. Encourage all your folks there at Central to hit subscribe for me, Ellis. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. But Ellis, it's been a joy to have you. I've enjoyed getting to become a friend of yours, and I hope that will continue for a long time. But thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, I've had a great time. Yeah, it's been great to get to know you, over time. Just lunch every week is just a common thing, something I look forward to every week, looking forward to continuing our friendship.
Absolutely. And we hope that you'll join us again next week. And for my friend Ellis Coffey, I'm Tim Estes. Thanks for watching. So long, everyone.